One's a Chiefs fan, the other's a Pats fan, and together they make Primetime Dimes.
What's up, my fellow football fanatics? Welcome back to episode 14 of Primetime Dimes, your weekly source for surviving the offseason and breaking down the headlines during the season. I'm one of your hosts, Chelsea, and with me as always is Megan. Hello.
Hey, so I know I'm a little late to the game, but did you happen to catch any of the Rodgers versus Brady golf game?
No, I did not. I don't watch any golf. I did see some of it on social media, and I did see I think Patrick Mahomes shared a photo of it today. It was like him, Justin Timberlake, and Travis Kelce were like on a team together. They were playing together on that, whatever that.
The Tahoe,
I don't know if it was for charity or whatever it was, but
yeah, it's
their
their
little
like Tahoe trip.
Their little golf trip. But yeah, it was watching all the media come out from it was really cute, but I didn't watch any of the actual playing.
Yeah, my favorite thing has been like obviously Brady's just living it up. He gives zero fucks down in Tampa. So I'm all about like seeing Brady be Brady as opposed to being like a robot.
Yeah.
But also it was really fun to see Aaron Rodgers kind of toy with the Packers, not with the fans. Like, I mean, yeah, he is toying with fans, but he's really just playing with the organization. He's just like, I don't know, maybe I'll be there.
He's having a fucking time. I'm like kind of jealous that he can just go around and like do what he's doing and like making his organization sweat a little bit. Like he's like, you have to be that good to be able to do those kinds of things. So I think it's just really funny to see.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch him kind of seemingly sit back and enjoy life. It's
he's just like not worried. He's not fucking worried about what's gonna happen next.
I genuinely don't think he cares. I think he finds it hilarious, all the speculation, but like I don't think he cares. And why would he? He's already made his money. His fiance is gonna make money, so they're fine. They're fine.
He'll end up hosting Jeopardy. He'll be fine.
Yeah. I hope. Hopefully we don't have to talk about Aaron Rodgers much longer. I know he has kind of announced that like we will know by the end of the offseason because he does not anticipate missing games, but he never said that he was going back to the Packers. He just thinks this will be resolved in time for week 1, which will be nice. Ooh. But in other news, I guess I'll stick with the Patriots because it's fitting. Did you happen to see that the wide receiver Neil Harry requested a trade from the New England Patriots? He's our first rounder from 2019. He went 32 overall. I was pissed that we took him over DK Metcalf. I was very angry. Very angry.
I would be.
And I'm kind of glad he's requested a trade. He is a big guy, but this was a clear miss by Belichick, by GM coach. Yeah, GM Belichick. He never really panned out. He had an injury and during his rookie year, and then we switched quarterbacks and the play style has changed, and he just is never separated. Like he has no separation in his game. He's just tall and a big target.
That will only get you so far.
Yeah, it's one of the instances where I find that a college star didn't translate to the NFL, right? Like in the college game, I understand how a big guy in the end zone is going to get a lot of targets, especially if you're trying to capitalize off of a man or just the fact that the defense generally is weaker in college compared to NFL. So, yeah, sorry.
But well, I mean, no, you're right, because the games go to like 40, 60. I've seen a game almost go to 80 points. Like, I mean, you're right. But like, if you're talking about like the top 10, like they definitely do have a decent defense. But you do make a good point. Like the defense is not the same. It's not comparable from college to the NFL. If anything, I think defensive players have a bigger learning curve than any other college players going from college to NFL.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. And I think he will be successful on another team, maybe another team that focuses on downfield targets, because like as a wide receiver, he was expected to be the downfield target. So if he were to move over to, I don't know, he wouldn't move to the Cardinals, but if he could move to the Cardinals, like, yeah, he would be the third option, but he'd have no heat on him. And he can catch a ball. He can run a nice route. He can contest the ball. Like, he's a good wide receiver. He belongs in the league. I'm just happy he's going to be leaving my team.
And like, are they like willing to trade him? Like,
Yeah.
he's requested it, so it's like, kind of like a two-way street.
Yeah, from my understanding, it looks like the Patriots are just looking at trade offers. I mean, we'll only get a 6th round pick for him. We're not getting much for him.
You guys need more like young, fresh people, though. So like more draft picks is still a good thing.
Yeah, and need someone who isn't, I guess, complaining to the media about targets. Like, again, not taking a shot at Harry. He has been underutilized, and I understand his frustration. But also, yeah, you can go play for another team. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Not fazed by it at all.
No, and like, whatever. But my team, the Patriots constantly rotate through players, so it's one of the few sports that I don't get overly attached to the players on the team. I get attached to the team itself, and I just hope they win. But still, other good news for my team. QB Mac Jones signed his rookie deal with the Patriots. He signed a 4-year, fully guaranteed deal worth $15.6 million, along with a 5th-year option. His signing bonus comes in at roughly $9 million.
Wow.
I wish.
He must be impressing them at camp if he's already signing a deal like this. Like, they know they want to stick with him for at least 4 years, even if he's just a backup.
Yeah.
Which I highly doubt he will be. That'll all depend on how he plays in the NFL, because that's just the one thing we have not seen yet. And I'm excited. I can't believe I'm saying I'm excited to see a Patriots player play, but I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'm just, I'm curious to see how he does.
It's good for the league when the evil empire is at least competitive. Like, you want the evil empire actually competitive, because then it's so much fun, more amusing when they lose.
I'm quite enjoying watching the Patriots in the bottom, so this could happen for a few more years, and I'll be okay with it.
It won't last too long. It was funny. I wasn't going to bring this up. It's why it's not on the doc, but I was reading into more about Mac Jones, and it was really cool to see that Kyle Shanahan, the coach of San Francisco 49ers, he came out and he said, you know how back at the draft it was rumored that was who Mac Jones was, who the San Francisco 49ers were going to pick as their quarterback. And on some of the news media circuit the other week, people started asking him, like, why didn't you choose Mac Jones? Were we wrong, essentially? Like, did we screw up? Did we misread everything? And Kyle Shanahan was just like, no, everything you said about him was right, about Mac Jones. He is everything you described him to be. It's just we had decided we were going to go one way in a scheme that we felt was best with us, and we had already got Jimmy G as the semi-Mac Jones-esque type quarterback, or what we considered to be a Mac Jones version. So why get another Mac Jones when we already have a Jimmy G and we could see?
I don't think Mac Jones probably would have learned a lot from being on San Francisco. I agree, because he's already like Jimmy G. I think that he can learn much more from being in the Patriots system underneath Cam Newton, who has a lot of experience. And then you have Trey Lance, who is not only good for the skill set that the 49ers are looking to implement into their game, but also can learn from Jimmy G. So I don't know, I just feel like it's not a waste for them to take Trey Lance, because they'll be able to build on him more than they would have Mac Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, as a Patriots fan, it's always nice to still hear that Mac Jones was worthy of the third overall, and he was considered quite heavily.
Yeah,
They
there's
just
nothing
decided.
wrong with him.
Yeah.
Just it wasn't a perfect match for San Francisco, and they saw that, which clearly the rest of the analyzing world did not see.
Yeah, and it works for me because it means he fell to the Patriots, which, oh my God, imagine. Okay, go with me on this one. Imagine if he actually is everything is advertised, and in like 4 years, people are bitching that they'll let Mac Jones slide. I'm going to laugh if he becomes the face of the Patriots because, of course, he is. He looks just
He
as
probably will
ridiculous
be.
as Brady.
As long as he plays like like we've seen with Alabama, I don't see a reason why he doesn't start the next Patriots dynasty.
I only saw him last year, like when they won, right? And is he a one year wonder, like one hit wonder, or is he going to be like Burrow, who had actually translated over to the NFL? Is my only concern.
Is it bad that I don't think Burrow translated as well as I thought he would? Is that just me?
I don't think that's controversial.
I think Mac Jones is going to do better, and I think it's because he's coming out of the Alabama program and into the Patriots program.
Yeah,
I think that is going to be the key difference between how he does this year versus how Joe Burrow did in his first year minus his injury.
That's true. Like, I don't think that's a controversial take by any means. I think where I was coming from,
I was expecting him to do better.
The thing is his offensive line was terrible, and in college you can kind of run and get around it, and kind of, make up for things. But he did a lot with a little this year, and that impressed me.
Yes, it impressed me, but I don't know, just seeing him come off of the year he had in 2019, for him to like go to the Bengals and like get sacked so many times. I know that's like that's not his fault either, but it's just like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just would have expected him to do more with what he had, just based on what I saw from last year. And like, yes, it was impressive with what he did with the team last year with the Bengals, but I mean, I think this year is going to say a bit more about him, especially because we didn't get to see him play a full season. So it's really hard to compare Joe Burrow's rookie season to any others because he was injured. So,
yeah, absolutely.
It's really hard to.
I can't wait to see what happens.
But I think that because of where Mac Jones has been and where he's going, that's going to have a bigger effect on his game. Just like what happened with Joe Burrow. He went from a school that is great. I don't want to say once in a blue moon because it's more than that, but like is great ever so often to one that is always terrible. So he kind of just like almost downgraded in a sense. And then he's thrown in there and is like, now I have to work with this. And you saw how that happened. You saw a lot of sacks. You saw a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of fumbles, but I feel like he was always catching up.
He got wrecked a lot
always
of times.
Catching up. Yeah, and that partially falls on their offensive line, but I think it's just solely because of, the Alabama going into the Patriots is a lot stronger than LSU going to Cincinnati.
Let me tell you, I love when you actually talk nice about my team. It's very becoming of you. I hope you get used to it.
This podcast is changing me. I don't like it.
I love it. I love come to the dark side. No. We don't have cookies, but we have dogs.
You know what? It was mostly, I will admit, it was mostly Tom Brady and Belichick. So like now that Tom Brady isn't there anymore, like there is less hate for the Patriots, but there's just like so much history for me that it's going to be hard to ignore. But my grudges is getting smaller. It's still the same for Tom Brady, but I still won't cheer for the Patriots, but I am intrigued to see how Mac Jones does.
So wait, hypothetically, a Bucks Patriots Super Bowl, which is your worst nightmare. Who do you root for? Because it would be Brady versus the Patriots.
Well, I I would root for Mac Jones. That would be my answer. I would root for Mac or Cam Newton, whoever the fuck's the quarterback at that point. I'm not saying I'm rooting for a specific team, but I will say I'm rooting for that player.
So the Patriots. Thank you.
No, that did not come out of my mouth.
Oh my God.
That's your interpretation of it.
I'll never get that Super Bowl, but I would cry. There would be real tears.
I'll never have to make that decision because it'll never fucking happen.
Imagine. Oh, I would be so fucking happy.
No, but I never thought I'd see the day where Tom Brady and like the Chiefs would play against each other in a Super Bowl, and here we fucking are. So,
and who won?
I want to talk about it.
Not your little boy.
Shh.
The little baby goat. Oh, I can't wait to watch him play, though.
He's not a baby anymore.
Yes, he is. His voice still makes him sound like a baby. Speaking of babies.
Ready, set, hut.
Do you know who never seems to grow up on the field? Friggin' Derek Carr.
Not only does he look the exact same, he also looks like he always has eyeliner underneath his eyes.
Right?
And it's like, I asked like one of my friends who's a Patriots fan, I'm like, okay, I need to know. Like, is that just like a thing? Is that just how he looks? Or like, does he do like, so, you know, sometimes they put like black underneath their eyes. I'm like, did he like forget to wipe some of it away or something? He's like, nope, that's just how it is.
Yeah, that's Derek Carr for you. So he's the Raiders QB. And he said to a very noted analyst, Collinsworth, he was talking about Davante Adams. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. Derek Carr would love to play with Davante Adams again. They played together in college. And what was great is he even went as far to say, I said, I'm going to go full court press to the guy when he's a free agent. There's no doubt. I'm going to buy him a car. Whatever I got to do, he'd fit in so well with our guys.
I'd buy him a car.
Yeah.
It's just funny because his last name's also Carr. So I think that's just ironic that he's like, I'll buy him a car. And like, what if he means himself? What if this is an innuendo?
Right? No, and it was great because like, obviously Davante Adams plays wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, but with his quarterback kind of up in the air, and he only has 1 year left on his contract. Who knows? Yeah, when Davante Adams is a free agent, I would go full court press.
Well, because also if Aaron Rodgers comes back, he only has 1 year left on his, like, this would be his last year with the Packers, or he retires, whatever. It's his last year on the contract with the Packers. So both him and Davante Adams are going to be free agents at the same time. And if he's not going to come back, why would Davante Adams want to come back? So I could see him leaving. I think he could be good on. I think that might be what the Raiders need. Like if Derek Carr stays, because I know we talked about that on an episode a few weeks ago. He doesn't want to go anywhere, but his team might not be on the same page with that. I don't see them veering away from Derek Carr unless things start to get murky with like Aaron Rodgers, because I know that they were looking at him. Do I think Aaron Rodgers will go to the Raiders? I don't know. This is where I could see Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams jumping ship after a year.
Yeah, because for
the Raiders, and then Derek Carr retires.
Yeah, because for our listeners who don't know, Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers are like best friends in terms of wide receiver quarterback relationships. Like they love playing together. You can tell that Adams is one of Rodgers' most trusted wide receivers. He's similar to, like, for me, when Brady would always go to Edelman, for you when Mahomes goes to Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce, like, and Brady to Gronk. It's like these are the people you know are going to catch this ball when you need it most. So yeah, I
reliable.
I wouldn't be shocked if those two decided to play together.
I mean, I would be shocked if they both go to the Raiders, because now you have Derek Carr saying he wants to play with Davante Adams, and then you have the Raiders saying we kind of want to go for Aaron Rodgers. So it's just like it's just so messy right now.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what happens with this like little love triangle of players we have going on.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the new season brings. But for you guys, for your team, it could bring a lot of questions. I know we spoke about this off air, but the Chiefs defensive end, Frank Clark, who is a very good player, has been formally charged with felony possession of an assault weapon after cops found an Uzi in his Lambo during a June 20th arrest.
That sounds like a rap song.
Yeah, Clark claims the gun belonged to a member of his security team per TMZ. If convicted, he faces up to 3 years in prison. First of all, bullshit that's from his security team.
Yeah, that bullshit. Second, am I surprised that another Chiefs player is caught in another charge, scandal, police investigation? Not really.
Yeah, like what the heck?
I feel like this is starting to happen almost every year. I think last year we had Breland is his last name. Yeah. He was like caught at like intoxicated driving at a gas station.
Then you guys had Hunt.
We had everything that went or happened with Tyreek Hill, and now we have Frank Clark. And it just seems like I thought we had all of our shit together for this year. I mean, I'm not too concerned. I'm not too concerned if this ends up affecting Frank Clark being on the Chiefs this season. I think he's more of a face to us than anything. Like he's player wise, I think he's replaceable. Face wise, I know like Frank the Tank or like Frank Clark is a big. I think is he the 55 or was that Ford? I can't remember.
That was 53, but I don't watch your 53. Team
it's
too
53.
Much.
But yes, like I think he was more of a face than anything to us. So I guess that'll be a little disappointing because it's always nice to have like a one of the faces of your franchise be a defensive player. I mean, it also sucks because like for a defensive player, he's a well-known name. So like this is going to
some other team will pick him up. For sure, if your team drops him.
That's the other thing that always happens. There's always some team with no morals who's like, oh, Frank Clark's available. Let's grab him.
Yeah, someone puts winning above doing the right thing.
I don't think the Chiefs has said anything. Like, I'm pretty sure they dropped. Well, I mean, it was pretty evident what happened with Kareem Hunt. So they dropped him regardless of what happened with the court. But I don't know if the Chiefs will wait until this hits the court because as much as we probably don't believe that was a weapon for one of the members of his security team, like if he has, I guess, an alibi, we'll call it.
That's what it is.
If that's his story and it is like, okay, well, it's compelling enough to like bring to court and possibly be wrong, then I think that I don't even know if they'll suspend him.
Yeah.
I think this will probably wait until he's charged with something. If he is charged with something, then the Chiefs will reprimand him. I mean, if he's charged with something, he's going to jail, so he can't play. But Andy Reid has been known to cut people who have been in the bad light. So
I hope he's suspended for this. My problem with
that's what I would hope is that he's suspended while this is going on because he's charged. He's been charged with something. Like Deshaun Watson hasn't been suspended with anything because he hasn't actually been charged with anything. Those were just civil law cases that are bringing up for him. But this is a criminal charge, right?
Yeah.
So
the NFL has kind of set a precedent with like integrity to the game, right? Or integrity of the game.
We'll probably see within a week or so that he might be suspended. I am not very confident that that'll happen, but it's definitely a possibility that they'll suspend him after hearing that he's been charged with a felony.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Sorry, my cat just jumped up on my table. She's decided
Rosie wants some action.
Yeah, she wants some love. But in the final news from myself that I wanted to see if you'd seen is more recently the Falcons announced they had released a linebacker by the name of Minog after he was arrested in Texas on a charge of indecency with a child. So
like, these charges are getting more and more ridiculous. Like how?
Yeah. So there are some minor details I do want to include, but other than this, I don't know much. And the articles I was reading also do not know too much. I anticipate that it is going to be a little more quiet of a case because it involves a minor. But so he was arrested in Texas on a charge of indecency with a child's sexual contact. Arlington police said that Mingo was arrested Thursday on second-degree felony charge, which carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison under Texas state law.
Damn.
According to the state penal code, the charge relates to engaging in sexual contact with someone younger than 17 years of age or causing the child to engage in sexual contact. Arlington police said in a statement that the agency could provide no further information about the investigation, citing the nature of the charges and age of the victim. But they would say that Mingo turned himself in. So the thing that led me to believe is there could have been contact. There could have been a situation. I have no idea what the situation was, be it he was involved or if he... As I read in the penal code, it could be that he has caused a child to engage in it. Doesn't necessarily mean with himself. So there's a lot of stuff I have no idea about, but I wonder if he knew the individual's age. I wonder if we're seeing a situation where he thought the age was older, he was wrong, and he is incorrect for not doing his due diligence. All of this is on him, not on the child that was involved. Like I do not want to place blame on the child.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities that like of what could have happened here. I think it speaks a lot to him about himself turning him in, and that's where I would agree with you in saying that, like, well, if he's turning himself in, maybe he didn't realize the age of the person that he was with. But you really can't speculate about these kinds of things. And I agree again with you that it's probably going to be a lot hush-hush because of the fact that it involves a minor. So we're probably not going to hear about anything about this until something's decided in court.
Yeah. And it was refreshing to see the Falcons immediately. Like it wasn't even one of these, well, we're going to see what the facts, like we're doing our own investigation
that's
together.
Something that's probably what's going to happen with Frank Clark. They're going to wait and see kind of thing, because he does have like his side to the story that is, I guess, believable, partially believable. But yeah, with this, I good on the Falcons for releasing him ASAP.
Yeah, exactly. But that is all I have. I know you have a few things you wanted to discuss.
I do. Well, first and foremost, with everything starting to open up again, 7 of the NFL teams are above 85% vaccination threshold with 2 weeks until training camp. We are 1 month away from preseason, so that's really good to see. Teams above the threshold will have fewer restrictions once camps open. 70% of players league-wide have had at least one shot. 2 weeks ahead of most training camps reporting dates. Monday was the first deadline. So I guess we're recording today. Monday is the first deadline for players to get their second shot or a single shot of Johnson & Johnson, because they're in the States, to clear the window to be able to be considered fully vaccinated for training camps. So that's going to be passed by the time this episode comes out. And then the restrictions for non-vaccinated players include daily testing even during bye weeks, masks, limits on number of players in rooms, not being able to eat in the cafeteria. The list goes on and on. So I don't know, I guess we're going to see in the next few weeks which players have declined to get the vaccine and how that's going to change the training camps, because like there are some people who are, I don't know what it is. I don't want to put it in my body. Or I think I don't know if he was like very religious. I feel like I saw one that was like a player who was like, God has a plan.
Cole Beasley is pissed he has to be vaccinated. He's not going to get vaccinated.
There are some players that do not want to get vaccinated. Like we probably all know someone in our life that doesn't want to get vaccinated because of X, Y, and Z. So, I mean, I'm not going to call them stupid on
Get
here,
vaccinated.
but get vaccinated. Because this is going to affect, this is going to affect the rest of your team. You're not going to be able to participate, and now you're making everything harder for the rest of the organization who now has to plan around the non-vaccinated players.
Yeah, fuck that. Also, like, you can still get vaccinated people sick, and you could help contribute to further propagating this disease. I don't really care if the comments want to come at me. I actually understand what is going on when it comes to some of this stuff. So it's fine.
Very intrigued to see the list of players come out who have declined to get vaccinated. That's going to be very eye-opening.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there are medical reasons why you cannot get vaccinated, and
absolutely
speak with your physician, but not
Dr. Milton on the mic.
not go out and be like, oh, my family has a history of cardiac diseases. Yeah, I can't get the vaccine. No. Talk to your physician, and they'll let you know whether or not that's true.
People, man. Moving on, we have a former Eagles, Bills, and 49ers wide receiver, Jordan Matthews, is looking to transition to tight end. I believe that's happening this week. The Hub Football hosts a series of free agent tryouts for the NFL, the CFL, the USFL, and the USA Rugby Scouts. They announced that Matthews would participate as a tight end in its camps Sunday in San Diego. I don't know if that's this past Sunday or this coming Sunday. But yes, he's going to the free agency tryouts for just like football organizations in general. Awesome. And he's transitioning from wide receiver to tight end. He played 7 seasons in the NFL. He compiled 274 catches as a wide receiver for 3,288 yards, 22 touchdowns. So most of that came from the first 3 seasons with Philly. The last season, he dressed for 2 games in San Francisco. So he's played a total of 14 offensive snaps and didn't see a target. I believe that was just with San Fran. He is one of the latest players to transition to tight end to attempt to re-enter the NFL, joining Tim Tebow and Kelvin Benjamin. So I think we kind of predicted this in an earlier episode when we were talking about tight ends, if we were going to see more players do this, and we are, and we have now the 3rd player this offseason come back from one position to try out for tight end, and I don't a great position.
I don't know if you've seen this on social media, but what's been really popular has been people have been asking older players like Jerry Rice, Dan Marino, how they think they would do in the current league. And Jerry Rice, he was a wide receiver for the 49ers. Yeah. He's like one of the most prolific wide receivers. Like, then you have Randy Moss, and now you know we might eventually see Tyreek. I am not ready to put him there, but
he will never transition to tight end.
No. It's not even about transitioning to tight end. It's about the accolades, right? And so
I could see Tyreek Hill retiring and coming back as a wide receiver. Yeah, just running the game.
Jerry Rice literally was just like, if I played in the current NFL, I would have double all of my stats. Then you had Terrell Owens come out and be like, I could play in the NFL right now. Like, these are old guys that are just like, yeah, the new NFL is soft and we would run amok. Bo Jackson, one of the best running backs to ever be in the league, said that he could easily average 400 to 500 yards a game.
I love that think that it's like all like soft and mushy now.
It kind of is all with the penalties.
With the penalties, yes. I know there are a lot of people who are like older players who are upset about a lot of the concussion protocols that have been put in, and they're like
stupid, which is
kind of dumb, because that is really more or less saving your life by putting those in. I can understand all the penalties that they'd be upset with, but like, I mean, the game has advanced since they've been in it. Like you said before, like technology has advanced. The way these kids work out and the way they perform has advanced. So like I don't know, because you're talking about like young blood versus like old and what's the word I'm looking for? Like seasoned, like
veterans,
knowledgeable veterans. Yeah,
experience.
It's like rookies versus the veterans, but these aren't vets that have like Tom Brady is a vet, but he's still playing. You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to see how that would work, because I don't know who would be better, because you have all of these older guys talking all this talk, but then you have all these younger guys who are out there doing it every day at a capacity completely different from when these guys were in the NFL. So it's just like, I'm trying to think about it and I could not pick a side.
The only one that I think could truly double his stats was Jerry Rice, because that man was constantly like
racking up the numbers.
No, but like he was just constantly interfered with on passes. Like he would draw so many pass interference flags in the current NFL. It would be ridiculous, but he was always open. Like he was just that good. He would deserve the pass interference.
I guess the older players would be like really pissed off with like the rules about what is considered a catch and what is not considered a catch, because there were so many times that they call things back and I'm like, are you kidding me? That was like, he caught it. Yeah. And you're saying that, but he didn't do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, he didn't follow through. It's like, but like you didn't require to follow through in the last play. Why did? Yeah. Don't get me started on the catch rules, because half the time they don't make sense, and we do not have time in this episode.
We could have a whole episode just to talk about rules. But moving into some more NFL updates. So it looks like Washington will not be the Washington football team for very long. They've announced it won't be the Warriors, and the owner has said they don't want any ties to Native American imagery. So they won't have one for this season, but they're hoping for the start of the next season that they will have a completely new identity, name, logo, all that's still being worked out. But I mean, even last year's offseason, I remember seeing a lot of stuff floating around social media of like potential team names for them, and a lot of them are like really good, and I'm like, why don't you just jump on one of these if the fans want it? If they're like, this would be cool, you should do this, why would you not just give it to them?
Little like focus groups and all of that.
It's like,
come on, it's businessmen overthinking.
I think they're
welcome
just
to corporate
it.
America.
I honestly watch them. They're gonna put out something that's gonna be so stupid that everyone's gonna be like, I'd rather it be the Washington football team.
Well, yeah, look what happened with Seattle in the NHL, like the Kraken or the Kraken. Like,
well, you know what I'm actually a fan of what the CFL did with Edmonton.
Oh yeah, that was good.
The Eskimos, they're the Elks. Same colors, they're still EE. I think it was so smart.
It was classy.
And I actually really like the new graphics and all the stuff that they've put out for it. So I think that was like, the Washington football team can take a lesson from what the Edmonton Canadian football team did in transitioning from a Native American term to, I guess it's literally a slang word, I guess. So from transitioning to that to something more politically correct and acceptable.
I'm so glad they changed it. I'm glad
they did it, and they did it so much faster than the Washington football team did. Like they literally said, we're just not going to have a name for 2 years while we try and figure it out.
Yeah, and it was just funny because like the Washington things always starting, like it was funny last year because WFT is hilarious, and I enjoyed. Like I just enjoyed how they kind of rolled with the punches. Now it feels very performative. It's like you don't have to announce that you don't want anything to do with Native American. Just don't do it. Like it doesn't have to be stated.
But I think they just stated that because they said they're not using Warriors, and I guess they have taken Warriors in association to Native American imagery. So I think that's more or less why they said it with the statement as to they won't be calling themselves the Warriors. But still, I guess we'll find out in 2022 what Washington's name will be.
Stay tuned.
And then the last one I had here, just because, man, this makes me nervous. Can I tell you how much I actually don't want to see the Chiefs in a Super Bowl again? Just for a couple of years. Just I need a break.
Don't
I
say that,
wouldn't
because then
mind.
they'll never go back until like 10 years.
That's fine. Well, it's not there anymore, but I have my flag. I have my football. It says we're champions. Like, I had it. I lived through it. It's fine. I don't care if we don't get another one. I mean, I could be lying.
Oh,
but
yeah, you will
I'm
care.
I'm just saying that right now, because if we go through a third one, I honestly might have a panic attack. I might have a heart attack.
Buddy.
Like, something is not, I'm not gonna be able to breathe, because it's just like, it's just so intense. I totally understand what you mean by it when you say that you love and you hate when the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, because it's so stressful. Like, I don't want to go to any like Super Bowl parties because I'm like, I won't be able to enjoy myself because I'm going to be like yelling at the TV the whole time. Exactly. So to hear that, I mean, I am happy that this is the mindset they have. So Tyreek Hill went to, I think he said it to TMZ, that he's grinding his tail off. He was really disappointed and embarrassed about how the Super Bowl went down. You know, it was the biggest game of the year. It's on national TV. That's how you end your season. And he did not perform as well as he did at all. I remember on episodes prior, I think it was our first one, I compared the stats from when they played the Bucks at the beginning of the season versus when they played them in the Super Bowl. And the stats for Tyreek Hill were just on two different sides of the spectrum. So I can understand why he feels like that. And like him, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are all like, we're going back to the Super Bowl again. And I'm like, I love that you think like that, but can my heart have a rest, please? Please.
Yeah. Don't think like that though, because like literally the Patriots had their run for like 2000 and you know, it was 1, then 3, 4. And then they went almost 10 years before they won another one, and then they won every second year. But like, no, don't say that, because then it's like 10 years later.
Like I do, and I don't think like I don't know. It's my brain is having an argument with itself, because it's like, of course I want them to be in the Super Bowl as much as possible and be like, my team made it and yours didn't. But at the same time, I would like to relax and be able to enjoy the Super Bowl. So
I don't know.
Like even the one that they won wasn't relaxing, because it was a comeback.
They're
so it was
never
like
fun.
Yeah, I do not enjoy watching my team in the Super Bowl, but I will be happy if they win it.
Until you get these.
Yes,
then they're very much fun when you have the hat.
I have one. I was like, as soon as they won, I was like, I have to get a hat, because you always get the hats. So I was like, I have to have one.
I'll always get the hats.
But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see that is their mindset. Obviously, any fan of a team wants to hear that their team is like in it to win it every season. Because even last year, they're like, we're gonna go back, and they were there. So it's nice to see that mindset, and like it worked for them last year. So hopefully, it'll work for them this year with being back in full force, with the restrictions being lifted and having fans and the atmosphere. Like, it's gonna be hit my mic. It's gonna be very expressive today, but yeah, it's just gonna be so different this year. So I'm excited for the season.
Yeah, well, the season isn't that far away.
1 month till preseason,
and while we're very much looking forward to that, you'll have to stay tuned to hear our thoughts on the upcoming season at a later time during the off season. But that's all we have for this week's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, and review the show. If you have any questions or comments about the show, drop them in the comment section below. We absolutely love hearing from our listeners, and we'll see you next Wednesday, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Listen in to Primetime Dimes every Wednesday for your latest on football.